Hey everybody, welcome to episode 14 of What Not to Miss with Chris. My goal is to put out quick, relevant content that explains the why behind the what in order to positively impact the freight community. On episode 13, we talked about some lingering effects of extreme weather conditions on the freight market. Today, I'm going to talk about a couple of ways shippers may be able to keep costs down during these periods of volatility. So February is a great example of a period where we experienced extreme volatility over a short interval of time. According to ITS, we saw a 40-cent per mile increase in the national average in less than a month's time. This type of volatility also had an intensified effect on the freight market due to the lack of time shippers had to prepare. So, let's talk about a couple of ways shippers may be able to keep freight costs suppressed, not if, but when these situations arise. First of all, prioritization of important versus urgent shipments. Most shippers do an exceptionally good job of placing a high level of importance on everything coming in and out of their facility, in large because failing to deliver on time can tarnish relationship, cause end-user frustrations, kink supply chains, and become costly fast. In order to mitigate some of these concerns, shippers use your existing or take the time to create your important versus urgent freight parameters. Simply put, evaluate which loads must go out in a timely manner and which can be pushed off until volatility subsides. Make sure your carriers and brokers understand these parameters and your expectations surrounding your urgent freight parameters are known. Next, increased tender lead times. The advance notice that shippers tender or make their carriers or brokers aware of available freight should increase as much as possible before and during levels of extreme volatility. Carrier displacement can be highly disruptive to a shipper's typical tendering process. So giving carriers or brokers as much advance notice as possible can help reroute trucks and place them back into the proper lanes. Now, as I'm sure you know, a little flexibility goes a long way during seasons of high volatility. If possible, extending unloading and loading hours can be very helpful. When drivers have abundant opportunities in a given market, they will naturally gravitate towards the loads with fewer restrictions. Extending unloading and loading hours are quick ways to open up the door to a larger pool of available trucks. For example, there may be a carrier who operates daily or weekly in your urgent lane. However, has a delivery appointment at 5 p.m. every week. If your dock typically closes at 3 p.m., you may miss out on a solid truck option. If you are not communicating your willingness to flex on times temporarily with your service provider. And finally, shippers, lean on your service providers. You've worked hard to establish good relationships with your current carriers and brokers. Be as transparent with them as possible during these times and be open to unique ideas. For example, consider utilizing different equipment types. Provide load dimensions and trust your service provider for advice. Ultimately, by focusing on a shipper of choice line of attack and reestablishing expectations early on, you'll be able to find yourself in a much better proactive environment. Now, I hope this information has been beneficial to you, and if it has, please like, share, and or leave your comments below. Also, if you have topics you'd like me to break down or discuss in future episodes, please reach out. And until next time, I'm Chris Eads, and this has been another episode of What Not to Miss with Chris.